All right, so let's talk about the show. JCW. So, let me sum up what I've seen so far. And I'm not talking about match breakdowns, I'm talking about just the program itself and my overall view of it. I've seen, I think, 3 of these episodes now. They're taped, so when we see them, they're like a week old already. Okay. There's no significant change in the writing. There's no significant change in the way the product comes off TV. Okay. Writing isn't going to make the wrestlers perform better. One of the biggest problems I see, I don't know if you guys really like are paying attention to this. If you do watch JCW, is they don't have a big roster, man, and the people that they don't have any breakout wrestlers, any standout wrestlers. They don't. They have people that have some respect on their name, but they have a long history with JCW. And they have a lot of people that come and just feature on the show. Now, for you to have Matt Cardona as your world champion, Matt Cardona is nothing more than a mid-card guy. And they call him the king of the indies, right? Or he calls himself that, or whatever. But the thing is, for him to be your world heavyweight champion does not put you as a company in a position to do anything bigger and better. Simply because every company, okay, and we know it's all scripted and choreographed and all, but most people take this stuff serious, like it's real. Okay, but you always want to be able, for people, they like to compare. This champion versus this champion. Oh, that'd be a good match. Who do you compare Matt Cardona to that you think he can actually beat, that's a top level guy? You understand what I mean? So you have people within companies that, look, he has a deal with WWE. He pops up in NWA. He pops up in TNA, right? So here's the problem that JCW is going to have. See, he's not going to be like Mercedes Moné, taking names, taking titles, and if she loses, it's going to be the top talent, and it's going to be respectable. It's not going to be something where she's just getting beat to just somebody that's on the roster that's just popular or something like that. But there's no real movement for this person to go forward. Matt Cardona is going to hold this belt. He's holding this JCW belt. And you're going to see him lose matches on NWA. You're going to see him lose matches in WWE. You're going to see him lose matches in TNA. But he's your world champion in JCW. JCW is what, a year older than TNA or something to that effect? TNA is now going back and forth with a developmental company in NXT. For this to be the guy, okay, for this to be the guy that you trust to help take this company forward, it doesn't say a lot. It doesn't put this company in a position where it's going to get more eyeballs. See, one of the biggest problems that JCW have, you have too many old guys that just can't perform the way they used to, man, and they can't put the kind of matches on that would make the fans, like, the fans are accepting what you're giving them, right? And I do think JCW is a fun little show to watch. And I don't say that to undermine them. I'm saying it like it is. They're a fun little show to watch. It doesn't feel premium at all. It doesn't feel big at all. But it is a fun show to watch. But they have too many cheesy things going on that they need to fix. Look, Matt Taven is no longer signed with AEW, right? From what I understand, him and Mercedes Martinez. I read a comment where somebody said Matt Taven should go to JCW or NWA, and that's the fit they think that would suit him better. No, first of all, the wrestler has to want to go. to these companies, and the company has to want to sign this wrestler. But Matt Taven is now 40 years old as well. The last thing JCW need is another 40 and up guy. They signed PCO, who's damn near 60. You know, Willie Mack and all these guys have been there. Too Tough Tony, man. Look, they need some fresh blood. They need someone that they can get. They need someone that can turn some heads. Someone that can get in that ring and have people going, I like this guy. I really like this guy. And that they're going to check to see if he's on the card that night. So whenever JCW's coming on, and then, yeah, we're checking in to see. They need at least, I mean, honestly, I can't put a number on how many people they need, but they could use at least 3 new faces and 3 new heels, man. And they need, you know, some of the people like Cocaine's, his character, it is what it is. But he keeps getting punked by Big Vito. He had a match with Big Vito. Vito is 62 fucking years old. You know, when you get to the age, you see the wrestler get to the age where the majority, like 98% of their offense is just stomps and kicks and punches and just a regular body slam, dropping the knee on it. Yeah. Okay? My whole point, there's no way that Cocaine should be in there struggling with Big Vito. I mean, guys like Sting and Terry Funk who could just go beyond their age, like wrestle, like they still had, I mean, Sting jumping off cages and shit. Big Vito's not doing any of that shit, man. You know? And I'm saying, regardless, Vito doesn't have that kind of, you know, that type of, like, star power to where, you know, people are just going to watch because Vito's wrestling. Like, he's not a big draw like that. You bring back Madman Pondo, like, they need some younger guy. Look, if I can say this, we can get 10 fucking thousand people to say, yeah, this is true, I agree. Unless Vince Russo and these people over at JCW understand this, the company is going to maintain what they've already been doing. In terms of growing, like Vince says, oh, there's been an increase in viewership since he's been there. We don't know that. And I don't trust what these people say just because they say it. We don't know that. And like, I'm just saying, Vince Russo has had a reputation of saying shit. And a lot of times, even when he's talking on his little podcast, he says a lot of shit that just doesn't, it's like, all right, Vince. Not to mention, if you watch the podcast when they're talking about JCW, hardly anybody's tuned in watching. So when he's going live, this is my point. Now, people could be at work, it could be a number of things. But they know that you're the head writer now, right? So if people was checking for you, your numbers would be up. No, they're not checking for Vince Russo. They're checking to see the improvements that he made. What did he do that makes the show better? And the people that tune in because they already are watching and have been watching and will continue to watch. But in terms of progress, you're not going to do that just because you write some stories. Nobody gives a fuck about your stories if they're not seeing your stories. Where is the video packages? Where are the people that are posting things all over, you know, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook? Where is all of this for JCW? Where do you think that just writing stories is going to change? If nobody knows that your company exists, they don't, what does your stories mean? They don't even know about this stuff. So when you look at what's been going on, for the most part, the only thing that really changed is you see Vince Russo, Big Vito, and what's the guy's name? Vampiro, getting more screen time than the fucking talent. These guys are so fucking old that look at their segments. They're sitting back there in this little room on the couch. Every time you see Vince, he's sitting there, face covered, and like he's so stressed out. Like, oh, come on, man, it's getting old already. You know, you don't make the company feel big yourself. You don't make the company feel special. You don't make the company feel like, yo, I really wanted to be here. Look, if Vince Russo, look, let me tell you something. Let's put it like this. Let's say right now, what's his name? Killer Mike, whatever. says to me, or Violent J, or whatever his name is, right? Say Violent J says, hey man, listen, I need you to come in, right? But I need something, we need a spark. Let me explain something to y'all. I'm coming there. I'm big up in JCW. I'm hyping up JCW. This is where I want to be. This is what wrestling is. You understand what I'm saying? We are going to take over. We are here to improve, right? Hey, let me work with the talent. Let's develop some character. Let's go over strategy and how things. I mean, just the way you stand, certain things you do, the way facial expressions, all of this shit matters. What type of wrestlers don't we have? Hey, we need to reach out and try to get this type of person, right? He already said, right, that he's the head writer, but then he goes as so far, to tell Vampiro that he's the showrunner, not the boss. Okay, so who's the boss? Okay, the only person I see barking orders is you. Storyline says that killer, whatever, the head clown, is gone due to him losing his guy that he picked, lost to the guy you picked, right? Okay, so if you're the boss, you should know you need to get some young talent in there. What is the biggest problem right now in the WWE? The main problem is they just don't give a fuck about their fans. But I mean, in terms of their creative, it's petty, it's mediocre. Roman Reigns, 40 and up. Cody Rhodes, 40 and up. CM Punk, 40 and up. Okay? Everybody. Now Drew McIntyre with the belt, 40 and up. Yet Braun Breaker is here losing to a fat, out of shape CM Punk that you can clearly see is washed up. And yet they allow this to happen. Braun Breaker does not have an aura of invincibility. See, people feared Goldberg. Goldberg's character was believable. Brock Lesnar's character was believable. Then they started fucking him over too with this, there's certain things that they did with him. But I mean, what I'm saying, at least they went in there and they put fear in people, and it looked believable how they manhandled people, and they went in there and got the job done. Braun Breaker is nothing but an imitation of his uncle and his father. He has the voice of Scott Steiner. He yells, he barks. Okay, so what? He botches his moves and shit, botches his Frankenstein. Whatever. But he goes in there and he loses to CM Punk. And he got so frustrated that he went on X and he tweeted, like, man, this is incredible. He says, like, we got people 80 years old, man, and come on, man. He got frustrated. And this is what I'm saying. Do you guys realize when you see Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk in the same ring, or Jacob Fontaine, do you realize we've been seeing these same guys in the same ring, in the ring together for over a year now? The feuds never stop. It's always, they just keep revisiting the same thing, and they're overlooking the young talent. See, the WWE doesn't know how to build stars anymore. And they don't have faith in their young talent. And they haven't for a long time. And I'm going to tell you what you guys fail to understand. The reason why they were able to get away with that same bullshit strategy for years, even with the Vince McMahon era, when they had younger talent and they never got them over. Because if you pay attention to who's there or who was there and who never got the chance to be that main person, and you think about it, you got your younger talent, but you know what they're going to do? They're going to have a show, and some wrestlers in the ring running his mouth, and the crowd was booing, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, if you smell, right? Or, down, or the lights go off, boom, it's Taker, or, woo, down. Why? Because they fell into this. Wrestling is all about moments, not 5-star matches. And what ends up happening? Oh, all the comedy. You know what happens when you disagree with me, don't you? You've just made the list. And this is hilarious to you guys. Rusev, that everybody has a chant, a certain catchphrase, or some goofy shit that this is the icing on the cake. And they kept overlooking the young talent. Little do you guys pay attention to. Some of these guys have been within their company, and you look, damn, this motherfucker been 8 years already? Oh, damn, I didn't even know NXT was that old. Damn, right? And you sit and look, and before you know it, you're looking, and then one day you see it post, happy birthday, said, damn, this motherfucker 38 already? I thought he was like 28, 20. Yeah. So now, all of a sudden, as they get older, let's start. Okay, you get a championship run now that you're 38. You can get one now that you're 40. And now they're in a position where The Rock can't save them. Stone Cold can't save them. The Undertaker can't save them. Ric Flair can't save them. Do you understand what I'm saying? None of these people. Hell, even Roman Reigns, these guys can't save them. They're not new. They've been there forever. So it's the usual fans that's checking, and a lot of the usual fans have checked out. This is exactly what I'm seeing happening in JCW. Not using older guys to bury the young talent, but that's what they're doing, whether they're realizing it or not. They don't have anybody. They have this same, I look and I see every episode, I don't see any fresh faces. I don't see any new signees. I just see people, I know people come to JCW, and like I said, they'll feature guest matches and stuff like that, but I'm talking somebody under your umbrella, like this person is signed to JCW. Matt Cardona isn't the ticket, man. And if that's the best that they can find right now, that doesn't say anything promising. So Vince Russo sitting here talking about the ratings will not see. Here's my thing, and this is why Vince Russo will cause people to turn their backs on him and start saying, man, JCW is lame. Vince Russo talks way too much shit. When you say you're going to beat Raw, he knows that talking like that is going to get attention to him. That's what he's expecting. So whatever the little viewership is that went up, whatever. Listen, when you can't draw 100,000 people, and I can tell you, let's not play stupid. They go live on YouTube, I think Twitch, TikTok, and maybe Facebook too. Now, if you take all the streams that's coming through and combine them, and let's say at the end of the night, right? At the end of the night, if you had 50, 60,000 views on people watch, let's just say, what's the number that you guys would like to get to? I asked that question because when Vince Russo constantly brings up AEW can't reach the million viewership mark, you know what he doesn't do? He doesn't add up the viewership from HBO Max and the viewership from TBS or TNT, whether it's Collision or Dynamite. He doesn't do that. And when you do that, they're doing, the word that we got is they're doing at least 500K. No less than 500K on HBO Max. And if that's the case, and they're doing 600,000-700,000 on TBS and TNT, when you combine them, their number was coming out to like 1.2 million, right? But the fact is, for someone to be so educated in the craft that he's performing in, right? He's working in, why do he act so clueless, so impulsive to just have common sense to think about what's really going on? Now put himself in Tony Khan's position. Or let's say Tony Khan had hired him and he's working there. You don't think he'd remember to say, guys, you got to remember, we're on live on Max, HBO Max, and we're live on TNT or TBS the same night. So you got to combine all of them, which is a fact. So why do you act so stupid? Like you don't understand that. See, so my point is, for you to have so much to say about any other company, even sucky WWE, you have taken a company, you become a part of a company that has like its own little core following. And nothing about you being there has people, nobody's coming to me saying, hey man, JCW this, JCW that. I do not see videos popping up all over YouTube or any other social media platform promoting JCW. You have to promote the shit first of all. Tony Khan is always traveling. Tony Khan does interviews. He promotes every time they have a pay-per-view. The week of that pay-per-view, or like 2 weeks in advance, Tony Khan is popping up. He's doing interviews. He's going to these different cities. He shows his face. Unlike Triple H and a whole lot of these other people, Tony Khan makes sure that he plug what's going on. Tony Khan, he remembers the stories, what happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and how this came full circle to now. That person got hurt. He stepped in. This happened. Then now they have a history and all of this shit. Like, I mean, Tony Khan is on point. All you do is sit behind your fucking little camera and do little Zoom meeting interviews or whatever. And where is the promotion for JCW? See, here's the problem with a lot of people, especially people born like being real shit. People get a certain age, they get set in their ways, and they just don't know how to do anything different. So what they're doing, right, is what they're used to, but they're not realizing, no, this right here, these same things that you're doing that nobody is really paying attention to. It's not just the writing. I don't know what his limitations are. And if they really believe in Vince Russo, and Vince Russo believes in his company, he's not there just for a paycheck. Vince Russo should know you have to promote this show. You mean to tell me JCW don't have somebody that can sit here and put video packages together and do little promo videos just to promote the motherfucker? You mean to tell me y'all wait, I mean, y'all have a Instagram, right? Y'all have a TikTok, y'all have a Facebook, right? You have a YouTube, right? Where's the promo? You gotta work, you gotta grind. I would go to JCW, any company, but I would go there. I'm not going up there playing the bad guy, playing the villain. You're not gonna like some of the changes I make, but you know what? Tough shit. Deal with, like I said, first night, I said he's already coming off wrong. He's already coming off wrong. I know in his mind he don't think he is. But he's in his mind he think what he's doing probably is foolproof. This is gonna no. Had Vince Russo came out his very first night, and Vince Russo comes out and he addresses this crowd and all that bullshit he talks all week long about AEW, and yeah, he finally starts being honest about how sucky WWE is. But instead of all that, why couldn't you come and address that crowd and say, it's time for JCW to be the brightest star in this industry. We are here. Me, you, us, everybody watching at home. All right? We are wrestling done right. Since this is what people that watch this show like to say, right? And we want to show the world we belong. And it's long overdue for JCW. Right? Why don't you hype shit up? Why you don't hype up the faces? Hype up, now have some fucking heels come out to interrupt your promo, but make sure you get it all out first and get the fans behind you to enough to where they're chanting your name or chanting JCW. Now, you do that, and instead of having, even like, for example, how the fucking head clown in charge, Instead of even having that match, whether it was his idea or yours, of I pick a guy, you pick a guy, my guy lose, you'll never see me again. You could have had a match, and it could have been the good guys versus these bad guys that interrupted, and the good guys win. But it also could have been the type of thing where Violent J, that's his name, I always keeps forgetting his name, he gets stomped up and gets beat up, gets beat down in the back, right? And it could be the type of thing where you could have did a storyline where, I'm doing all this off the top of my head. You could have been part of that storyline. Violent J could have said, man, I've been doing this for a long time. And I've never been hurt this bad. And my family's starting to worry about me. I don't know what my future's looking like. I'm glad I have you here and I have trust in you. I'm going to need you to do something for me. I'm not cleared to come back and wrestle. And there's just a lot going on. I need to step down. And I need you to step up. And I need you to do what I know that you can do. Yeah. Yeah. And I need for us to get JCW to where it needs to be. If you want to do some shit like that, how hard is this shit how hard is it to write this kind of shit? Because now you're on a high note, Violent J's on a high note. In fact, when Violent J comes out and he could address the crowd, well, the crowd, you're already on their good side. You understand what I'm saying? And not just have some video package of it. No, he addresses. And let's just say, for example, while you guys are in there, those same guys try to sneak attack you, and those same good guys come out and save the day once again. And y'all go out on a high note, but he just announced he has to step down. There's a lot going on. He's, medically he's not cleared to wrestle, but he's at a point. He's been neglecting to spend time with his family. Right now we know they do shows afterwards and all that. Everybody in the fucking building knows it's a show. It's not like they're gonna go, oh, what are you doing performing? I thought you was out sick. Because guess what? For him to even say, now, if I lose, you'll never see me again, which is what he said. He's still doing shows. You see what I'm saying? The writing is so outdated. Man, you guys come to work looking like, like you just get up in the morning, you know what, let me go to the corner store and get some milk, and you just throw some shit on just to throw. That's how you guys come to work looking at shit, man. And then you're sitting there, oh, God, man, look, man, I want chaos, okay? Oh, you sure running up my blood pressure, man. I want chaos, but I don't, look, man, okay, do you want chaos or not? The guy gives you chaos and you complain about the chaos he gives you. Not that kind of chaos. What the fuck kind of chaos do you? It's just like they're just writing simple shit. This shit is nonsensical, man. And this is where I'm saying the writing alone is not going to change things. Vince got to step his pen game up, man. He got to step his pen game up, and he has to. You guys need some fresh blood in there. It's too much of the same things. And no, I don't think you guys need Matt Taven. It's like you already have a senior citizens club going in there, man. Come on. Let's be real. Even Violent, look, Too Tough Tony can barely walk, man. This dude is, you understand what I'm saying? Willie Mack is just big and fat. Yeah, he can do flips and all that and shit, man. What's his dude? What's the Morton kid? He tries to be athletic and a lot of times he barely can pull the move off. He looks like a nerd. He looks like he sells cell phones at the mall or some shit to teenagers. All right, I'm just saying the dudes that you have just don't have that it factor, man. You need some guys. They don't have to be as stable. I'm just saying you need at least 3. Look, your show is almost 2 hours or over 2 hours, 2 hours, almost 2 hours. In that time, the fact that we keep seeing the same people, like the little ninja mask or whatever, and there's another guy I love Outbreak. That's my favorite. That's the favorite people my favorite wrestlers to watch in the whole, all the JCW is the Outbreak. I love watching them. Is it Ninja Mask or whoever the guy is, man, or whatever. You have a guy that kind of reminds me of Bandito a little bit. But it's not like the roster itself. It's like, oh, this is must see. And the type of entertainment that you guys are doing, like Willie Mack keep grabbing. I mean, it's just the second time I've seen him do this. He grab this chick, he puts a chick over his knee and starts this. It's like, guys, come on with the perverted shit. Come on with the whole ECW, Francine being. We done seen this shit 1,000 times already on different platforms. I'm just saying, this type of shit is like, this is supposed to get the crowd to, oh, because how many times are you going to do this same thing? See, when you have a mindset of you just do things a certain way and you don't know how to really just switch up and you know what, this is where people got to put their heads together, man. Now, if this job is solely on you alone, instead of sitting here insulting everybody, why don't you watch other wrestling companies? Watch clips, just look at, because your ideas, man, are these fucking ideas they're just like, they're so typical. Let me show up and play the bad guy. Let me piss off the crowd. Everybody thinks playing the bad guy is going to boost ratings. Why would you want to come in? First of all, and then you tell the head clown in charge that you're doing this for him. Coming out insulting the crowd, coming out and like doing things to deliberately get the crowd against you. What this is so old fashioned. You remember when Vince McMahon brought Eric Bischoff to WWE and he introduced him, called him a ruthless son of a bitch that'll stoop to any lows, and right? And they brought out Eric Bischoff and the crowd cheered, right? Okay, but what was Eric Bischoff's role? To be an asshole. Now, the thing was, Vince brought him in there to be the poison, right? That he's going to inject into the WWE just to end up at the end of his stint throwing him in the back of a garbage can. And that's how that was his exit out of WWE. Take him out in the garbage can. Okay. JCW. It is now 2026. You showed up in 2025. But you showed up with the same, I'm coming in here, and you had like next to no ovation. These are things you have to pay attention to, and you have to think, all right, what am I doing right now that I should be doing differently? What do these JCW fans like? Because if you're not really in tune with a company, you're not really watching what's going on, like you could sit here right now and you can have a bunch of ideas of, if I had a wrestling company, I'd have this kind of wrestler, that kind of guy. You're imagining, right? Now, what happens when you show up and nobody in this company looks remotely close to any of your little imaginations? So you have to work with what you have. Now, if you look at your roster and you don't see what you need to do, what this company needs, it's going to be a long uphill battle in terms of any major changes happening for JCW. I do not understand how anybody that's a part of this company can't see that. And the reality is, if people don't know how to put their egos aside and really do what's best for the company, then your stay there is like what's going to happen ultimately? Either you're going to be seen as you failed us, or you're doing enough to just keep us afloat. We didn't lose any fans really, but we still haven't done anything really significant. I don't see any significant change happening when you have PCO, Madman Pondo, Vampiro and Matt Cardona. Like I'm look Willie Mack and Too Tough Tony. Like this roster, man, of guys whose finishing move is he puts whiskey or whatever on his fist, sets it on fire, and then punches someone in the face. Like I'm saying, y'all, the things that made JCW stand out to its core fans. You have to look at, what do we keep, what do we enhance? We may not have to get rid of anything. We may have to just enhance. Just how can we make something better? But if it comes to a point where you have to change things, because format-wise, the show just feels cheesy. Like the format, the ads, it's way too many, like, just promos being cut at random places. You can see they're not in the same locations. It's not the same camera work. It just looks cheesy, and the show doesn't feel big. People don't like to attend something that doesn't feel big. I can sit here and watch anything and never socialize with people about it. It doesn't have to be a social thing with me. You know, I don't have to it doesn't have to be in some stadium or even televised. I can look, if you have a YouTube show that I can follow weekly, cool. Because I can follow what's going on. Most people are not like that. They feel the need that it has to be on a major network. And if the production quality isn't good, that's an X. If the sound quality isn't good, that's an X. If the matches aren't really memorable, it's an X. If the storylines, that's one of the things about their storylines, is they're not long term. They end very quickly. But there's nothing going on that's attracting new people. And your presentation is the first. What do people tell you, like, when you go for a job, right? Don't go there looking like that. Clean yourself up, right? Your presentation, when people look at you, your first impressions, same thing. Remember, I made the video saying they need to get all that nasty plastic down. That it looks horrible. Yeah, but you got to realize they do. Yeah, I know they do shows at the end of the show. Duh, that's nothing new. They've been doing it ever since they've been existing. Okay, I know that. It looks tacky. Take it down. Following week, all that nasty plastic was down. I'm not saying they did it because of what I said, but it needed to come down. So whether they saw my video or anybody else's, or whether Vince or whoever just said, all right, first things first, we got to make this place look more presentable. And they put the fucking curtain, simple. When I used to watch Lucha Libre as a kid, and I remember I'm just watching the odd station. Hey, all right, Telemundo, right? And I see all these wrestlers running around with masks on them. What the hell? What is this? And back then, at that time, only thing I knew at that time was WWF. At that time, I had never saw the NWA yet or anything else at that point. And all of a sudden, everybody is wearing a mask. So I couldn't understand what they were saying. So it was annoying because I'm watching it, but I'm seeing what's happening, but I don't know what the commentators are saying. Now I'm talking. I'm like 8, 9 years old, but I'm watching. And everybody has a mask on. And ever since I've been watching wrestling, I've never seen people all masked up. Only person that had a mask that I knew about at that time was Mil Mascaras. And anybody else that had a mask, I really didn't see a lot of masked wrestlers. So when I did, and they all had the black mask, it always just was like, who? That just looked so cheap. But I started, as I started to get a little older and start to understand, even like the whole not revealing their face, that even when they did interviews, they kept their mask on and kept their identity, away from the public. Okay, so you start to understand that they do these things. You might not always understand why and all. Okay, now my thing is, none of that matters. You either like the product you're watching or you don't. And then all of a sudden, I'm not seeing this product anymore. So wrestling has always had a problem with being able to get a TV deal and keep it. And then it's like years go by, you forget about it. Okay, so now I'm starting to watch NWA and AWA and all these other promotions. And I'm just having the ball watching all of it. One thing I can tell you, the NWA was good. But that studio wrestling just felt weird to me. Like, where the hell are they at? This little tiny room, it just felt weird. Then I started to get used to it. Now I start watching Japanese wrestling, and I'm just like, are they not into this shit? Like, because they would just sit there silent. They'd be in this big ass arena, and you could hear every grunt and every sound coming from the wrestlers. And then when they do a good move, they're just like, but that's it. No, nothing vocal. Just they all clap. Then I understood. Okay, that's just the way it is. Now, if you watch Japanese wrestling now, it's not the same. Now they're more vocal and they get loud. Case in point, things that you see can cause you to like lose enthusiasm or interest or gain it. An example of something, right? Doesn't it feel more inviting when everybody's electric and right versus they're just sitting there, right? But I understood, okay, it's different in Japan. And then I understood lucha libre shit is different. Case in point, I wasn't able to watch any of that stuff consistently. So I grew up watching WWF, NWA, AWA. Then I started to see Smoky Mountain, WCCW, UWF, Smoky Mountain. So all of this stuff. So when we're looking at all of these different, federations, one of the things that I noticed is like all of them had red, white, and blue ropes. So they were looking very similar. Then if you notice, because remember back in the day, the same thing, WWF didn't have a logo at first. Then all of a sudden, you start to notice NWA. Big yellow letters, sky blue, whatever the color their ring is, or dark green, whatever it was, right? Now AWA got their logo, WWF. Okay, they started all to get logos. Some had it even on the turnbuckles, right? But now we gotta separate ourselves. World class championship wrestling, everything, because now it's like, damn, what am I watching, right? And then sometimes they would not only swap wrestlers, but also commentary. Because I was seeing Tony Schiavone and Jim Ross for years, switching back and forth to these different companies. And then, so I'm sitting there watching this, and I'm saying, like, okay, it just had a better feel. Because it's like, it felt like you was watching the same goddamn show. Everybody's coming out with a red, white, and blue ropes. You know what I mean? The ring looked this. So everybody started to change something little by little about their presentation. And when WWE at the time started with, because we used to watch them on MSG, and that's like the long 3-hour show with it, and so then they started with like Wrestling Superstars, Wrestling Challenge, whatever, on Saturday mornings, and of course 605 NWA, and then 4:30 on the weekday, every day AWA came on. Now back then we didn't make it a big deal or care about if something was live or taped. We didn't even think about all of that. We were just watching wrestling, right? Now the shows are starting to feel different though, because they have a different look. The wrestlers are different, and now when you watch it, you appreciate these differences. But every show was able to produce solid shows. But WWE started this commercial shit. So they started pulling away from everybody else with this over the top, all these characters, these wrestlers with different personas, and like where I actually prefer the NWA and the AWA style more. It just felt more like a somewhat of a sport, if you want to say, versus what they were doing. But then they had these characters that felt like real life comic action heroes. So now I'm liking what the WWE is doing, and I'm going, okay, this is cool, right? So we're watching it. So that direction was cool. Now you got a younger demographic of people watching as well. So the guys like Nick Bockwinkel and Harley Race and all of them, they still look the same way they did before we was even born and all that. So they still got that old fashioned haircuts, you understand what I mean? So now when you're watching that and you're watching, Nick Bockwinkel and Luthez and all these guys still looking like the 70s and 60s, right? Now you got Ricky Steamboat with the fucking dragon wings blowing fire, coming to the ring with a Komodo dragon. You got the British Bulldogs coming out with a fucking bulldog. Jake the Snake coming out with an actual snake. Coco Beware coming out with the parakeet. You understand? So now it's like, here is sports entertainment without Netflix and ads and all that goofy shit, but just within the show itself. So all of this become fun. Hercules Hernandez coming out with the chain wrapped around, like, the Ultimate Warrior coming out. All of this shit became fun. But then NWA, they got Sting, they got the Road Warriors, they got Sid, they got Ray. So, yeah, NWA is looking good. We're not caring about what's the bigger company or who. We don't care about that. We are looking at, hey, this is fun. Little by little, no more Smoky Mountain. No more WCCW, no more UWF, no more AWA. But NWA is still here. And then all of a sudden, NWA becomes WCW, but the NWA brand disappears. Still exists, and it was like damn near 2 decades that me and a lot of people had come to realize that NWA was still around, but in a much smaller scale. And we was watching what they had, NWA Florida, NWA Hollywood, and it's like, damn, it just disappeared like that. So we don't know anything about the business side of things or how things are working. We just know what we saw, and then we're not seeing it anymore. Okay, ECW comes along. The rest is history. We all know what happened. Now, how in the hell are we in the era of streaming services? And I don't care, even if you're strictly just YouTube right now. The point is, if you don't know that you have to you have to promote your show. You have to promote you ask people about JCW. You know what? The people who really watch it know that it's called lunacy. Most people don't know. They don't even know that it's called lunacy. You know why? They don't see anything. And when they see highlights, you read a comment and somebody say in the comments, "Oh, I never heard of this show. What's the name of it?" You understand what I'm saying? They just see clips. Now, how many new faces do you think are there? Because everybody else that's responding in the comment sections already understand what's going on. So that's my point. When somebody for the first time sees something, they'll go, I never heard of this. Just like me, I didn't know about CCW until 2025. And then I saw Nikki Blackheart, and that's what got me watching. Like, okay, I like this chick. She's good. And I see the potential. Case in point, these guys, Vince Russo, these things should be in their heads. I have to see what the vibe is, what the younger people are into, the older people, like what's going on, what's the reaction to the shows, what are they doing on AEW Dynamite and Collision, what are they doing on Raw and SmackDown, what are they doing in CCW, what are they doing in NWA. That should be the easiest fucking thing in the world to do and to keep your mind fresh. But instead, if he is doing that, it doesn't seem like it. The idea is just like, okay, I'm just going to write a show for who we have and what we have. And all right, this is what we're going to do. But there's no real connection with it. And that's the thing. When you look around a JCW crowd and you see all of these people with their faces painted like clowns and they're out here cheering, these are the people that's been there from day one. For someone to, first of all, go on YouTube and see Premiering Now live, and they just happen to click on JCW, what is this? And they see Congo Kong and Mr. Happy and people like that. they look around. None of the females are really like attractive and like really like beautiful, sexy, gorgeous, attractive. None of that shit. You got a daughter, mother combination walking around backstage, always getting into some shit. The daughter is always coming out twerking and shit. I mean, it's just like listen, I'm telling you, as someone who's been watching this shit for all my fucking life, I can see where people will like it, and I can also see why people will go, this shit is. You understand? They're gonna look at this shit, and they're gonna try to get information. Maybe, oh, they're a YouTube show. Okay, they feel now you feel small to them. Same shit. Vince Russo and Eric Bischoff are the same two men saying Tony Khan should get a TV deal for ROH. And like Tony Khan said, when the timing is right, you don't just go try to get something done just because. It has to be right. He knows what's going on. Okay, so what are you going to do to help these people get a TV deal? And this is what I'm saying. It's easy to bark out orders and talk shit, but then when you are the one in position, oh, I have excuses as to why I can't do these things. JCW is a fun show, but for this show to get to where it needs to, you know, the work that y'all have to do. Okay, one thing at a time, cool. So if it's started with the storylines, okay, fine. What happens when every week it's the same people fighting the same people, and you don't have any fresh blood? You don't have anything where you are working people into the stories to where it's not just somebody debuting just to show what they can do, and you're putting them in there where you want to play eeny, meeny, miny, mo with who's going to be the guy we go with, right? I look at a guy like Warhorse, right? And people always compare him to the Ultimate Warrior. I said, okay, they're both white guys. They both had somewhat long hair, face paint. They yell a lot. They're very loud. They pound their chest. They wear tassels. Of course, Warrior is considerably bigger and was sculpted. Warhorse, I think in his mind, he think he's sculpted. He's not really a big guy. And I don't know exactly what is, he comes out there, when he comes out there, he says, coming in at 100,000 pounds or something with heavy metal or some shit. Says like he's a rocker, headbanger type wild guy, but his character never just caught on. And I looked at him. He's a guy I wanted to see come to AEW because I liked Warhorse. I feel like backstage or wherever, people should work with these wrestlers and help to develop their character and I feel like Warhorse could have done so much better if somebody would have been able to guide him to, he could have been the second coming of the Ultimate Warrior. He could have been. I mean, just saying, you could see the influence all over him. But his character just didn't catch. Now, here's my thing. I don't know about right now. I don't even know if Warhorse still wrestles. I haven't seen him or anything about him in a long time. But if you can take a guy and look at this guy or this woman, and you can, the outfits that they wear, their cadence, the way they speak, how they speak, does your character fit your wrestling style? Are you able to speak to these people and get their attention? Are the things that you're saying impactful? Can we get you to say it another way? Now imagine the Undertaker going, Andre the Giant, when I get you in the ring, you're not going to know what hit you. Rest in peace, dude. That shit would sound whack now, wouldn't it? Okay. So why do you think when the Undertaker does the rest in peace and he looks down, he looks up and his eyes are all white and okay, he's in character. He's giving you something to... Why do you think Papa Shango comes out with that weird music and the skull, the smoke coming out, and he's convulsing all this shit and his eyes are... Yes, they're in character. This is the point I'm saying. It's like if old Vince Russo is going to do is come in and write some shit, JCW is going to find themselves in the same exact position this year as they've been in every other fucking year. Because the people have to have something to see when they tune in. I would be looking like, okay, what type of wrestlers do we have? What don't we have? Okay, we got a bunch of big fat guys that's up in age. We have a couple of smaller guys that nobody really knows. Okay, high flyer, all right, somewhat. Technical guy right there, nah, all right. Nobody on their roster is doing anything in that ring that's making you go, man, like I said, this guy really can wrestle. So you need somebody that can do that. If you try to go the route, what's the guy in JCW that comes out with the pizza dough? See, his gimmick, he's a guy that fans like. He's an underdog every time he comes out. Anytime he goes up against anybody that's supposed to like be a top level guy in JCW, they know he's going to lose. You understand? See, that's why when you have gimmick wrestlers, you have to have a place for them. You have to have situations where they are going to win and do some significant things. Otherwise, people get used to them. Half the guys, well, not even, like almost everybody on that roster. I saw one guy, don't remember his name. Two guys. The one that kind of reminds me of Bandito. Looks like he, keeps himself fit. And it's another guy, fucking mustache. Kind of looks like Danny B. Severn in the face. I forget his name. Other than him, he's the only one. It's like everybody else look big, fat. They don't go to the gym or they're scrawny. They look like, now they got Matt Cardona over there. So, but like they all, none of them have that appeal, that it factor. They don't have that. So one thing I see that JCW is going to have to do, keep the show fun, but you're going to have to learn how to add real deal ass kicking type wrestling to fun. And I don't think the fans will be against that. I just think you guys got to figure out how you're going to do it and who you're going to get to replace. And I say replace because to replace who you see have right now is the face of JCW. And that doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight. But I'm saying it has to be somebody that you can bring in that people are going, man, I like this guy. Nobody on your roster is getting that right now, man. The best thing that JCW has going for it, as far as I'm concerned, is the Outbreak. And Willie Mack can still go. But I'm just saying, man, come on, man. They're all a bunch of mid-card guys. Outside of JCW, I know nothing of the Outbreak. So I don't know what they were doing on the road or in other companies. So this is what I'm saying. These are your poster children. And really, as far as I'm concerned, if I had a choice to watch between them or Matt Cardona, I would choose to watch the Outbreak over anybody that's in JCW right now. That's like one of my favorite tag teams, period. But they need help. And I mean they need help, meaning they need somebody else that can come there and be entertaining. Now, like Mr. 50s, I like the fact that he sticks to his character, comes out with his body painted to where it looks like you're looking at black and white TV. I love that shit. And the fact that he talked the way he did in the 50s. That type of thing. He dressed that way and all that. But JCW is going to need someone that people can take serious. And they need to have their roster trained and groomed in a way where they all are taken serious. And they're not looked at as just people that's just going to come in and fight and lose. That's the thing about it. They have a roster full of mid-carders. Therefore, people are not going to take JCW serious. In the long run, they're going to look at them like it's just another independent company. And that's what they're trying to remove themselves from, that independent company category. But how are you going to do that when all you're doing is just writing shows? But there's no difference in what's happening that means anything. How many people do you think really want to see Cocaine versus Vito? How many people you think want to see Vito versus anybody? You understand what I'm saying? A 62-year-old guy is in there beating the shit out of cocaine. I don't understand. He's back there slapping him in the face and shoving him, grabbing him, and cocaine won't defend himself. It's just like, what is the purpose of you do? Like, the show is just, it feels so outdated, man. And the thing is, with JCW, something stupid will happen, but then this will be a fun match. Then it'll be something just not interesting, but that was a fun segment. Or this, and everything to me, the most fun shit for me, it's the outbreak. It's Mr. 50s. I do like Willie Mack, but again, it's like, I know he's not, they're not, it's not enough just to have a handful of people. But that's really, I mean, the female champion there, people don't really talk about her, man. They don't really say much of anything about her. All right, so let's look at a couple of things before I close out. First off, I say JCW, like I said earlier, find some homegrown talent that they can character change, character develop, something different from what we have, something more exciting, something that stands out. Like Vince McMahon said when he was looking at the Ultimate Warrior, he said, no, he's bigger than the Road Warriors. He's more than the Road Warriors. He's the Ultimate Warrior. You have to have vision for these people. Somebody, okay? And like I said, I feel like if he got just 3 faces, they have no faces. Everybody's heels, man. It's like Willie Mack and Too Tough Tony is fighting everybody by themselves. Okay? And 3 solid females. Bottom line, if you get homegrown talent, here's the thing you gotta look at. You guys do 12 shows a week. That's what Vince Russo said. Okay. These guys would get exposure in JCW, and they'll fit into, you guys' system of how you run things there. But also what's happening is this. They're over with the fans. They're getting cheered. The fans are supporting these guys. Now, in the long run, if these wrestlers can help you guys and they become the reasons, like, hey, this is why more people start tuning in. This person right here is a beast. And ratings boost. Okay, you guys are making more money. You're in a better position. Hey, we have a streaming deal. Just say. They will probably be more loyal to you guys. Now, only time would tell, but they would probably be more loyal for these reasons and stay with you. Why? If you guys got to that point, now, let's say you guys, you're doing way better. Well, we can pay them the same thing that TNA can pay them at least, right? If they go to AEW, now, if you go to AEW, you have one of your matches, and that's why they always have people come out and debut at Ring of Honor first a lot of times, because they do a YouTube show. If you blow the roof off the building, if they see something and go, no, I want that guy for the main roster, okay, it's a wrap then. Because if it's about more money, they're going to choose AEW or WWE over you guys regardless. But if it's about loyalty and you're paying them good and they're happy where they are, they'll stay. And here's the thing. They don't want to lose their spot just to go somewhere else and be mid-card. They want to be what they are, and that's top stars in your company. Now, now think about it. If that happens, you don't have to worry about TNA or the NWA. It's AEW and WWE that you got to really look at, and that's because, hey, we can pay them way more type of thing. But as I said, if they're loyal and they stay, these are your stars, man. And you help build stars after other stars, but you don't bury them once you build them. You got to find a way to work everything together. And with 12 shows, that's a lot of wrestling, okay? Well, here's the thing, though. With the fact that you guys can say, and no, we took these particular wrestlers, we brought them in, and we changed them into something different, put our heads together, and we can, and listen, the success came here. So this is always home, right? And they're at the top of their game in your company. If you like having a guy like Matt Cardona, for example, he's your JCW champion. But how does that look when he's in your ring holding the belt up and he's the man and he's pinning all your wrestlers? But people can say, I just see him get his ass beat on NWA the other day against such and such. Oh, I just seen him get pinned the other day in TNA. But he's dominating JCW. How does that make your company look? This is why I'm saying homegrown talent is always... See, companies have always screwed homegrown talent over. Look at TNA's history. As soon as they started getting former WWE guys, oh, let's bury AJ. Let's bury Robert Roode. Let's bury Frankie Kazarian. Let's bury Eric. All our homegrown talent. Eric Bischoff said, I never understood that. Right, because you think whoever's putting asses in seats, that's who you put in those positions, right? So all the hard work, all the blood, sweat, and tears that these people has been given before a Jeff Hardy, or Hulk Hogan, or any of them came, all of a sudden now you just put them to the back burner. Soon as Macho Man and Hogan came to WCW, oh, Sting and Luger, you guys are number 3 and 4 now. You're no longer 1 and 2. Yeah, this is what they do. You bury your homegrown talent. No. See, if your homegrown talent can defeat these guys that have more recognition, guess what? That helps their star power. So here's my thing. If you have some people on that roster, and let's just say, for example, we just watched Matt Cardona get pinned by Stevie Richards or something, right? Davey Richards, whatever his name is. Just say, or Moose or somebody. Wouldn't that make your champion look awesome when he wrestles against Matt Cardona and squashes his ass, kicks the shit out of him and take that belt off of him? Because he's showing, I'm better than Moose. I'm better than Davey Richards. I'm the real deal. You have home run hitters and you have stars in your company now that developed through you. Just like Goldberg coming to WCW. Who the fuck knew who Goldberg was? I never knew him. I remember the first time I saw him. And every week he's coming out and I'm like, okay, he's just running through people. And I'm like, I like this Goldberg guy. And this is what I'm saying. Homegrown talent. Look at Sting. Look at Goldberg. Let's look at all of these other wrestlers that exploded and never ever stepped foot in the WWE ring before that. And this is what I'm saying you guys are going to have to do in order to really make a difference. So with all this writing and all, you guys better be scouting and have a good eye for who you choose to be, the next coming. Because Willie Mack, Too Tough Tony, these guys you got can't do it by themselves, man. You guys have no faces that mean anything. All your faces keep getting beat. Cocaine, yeah, he needs help, man. And so, yeah, you don't have a big enough roster to have like this. This is what I'm looking at. I don't know what you guys' budget is like. I don't know if money is an issue. But you're going to have to get some people that can turn heads in more ways than one in that ring. And this is why homegrown talent is the best way to go. And when I say homegrown talent, I don't necessarily, all I'm saying is you taking people that there's wrestlers right now in the independent circuit that people don't know. The AEW fans don't know, the WWE fans don't know, the NWA fans don't know, that you can get. They come to your company and all of a sudden it's like, damn, this dude is all, this guy right here. Like, you guys don't have anybody like that. And that's what you need. That's what you need. Do you see how fast AEW developed Bandito? Do you see how fast they developed Kevin Knight and Jet Speed? Do you see what they're doing with Ace Austin right now? Do you understand what I'm saying? This is my point. And look, even if it was somebody, this is why character changes. Look, The Undertaker used to be who? Mean Mark Callis. It's the same guy. Stone Cold was Stone and Steve Austin. Same fucking guy. Different gimmick. And people convince themselves they're not the same guy. They're a whole different person. Like, yeah, whatever, man. But this is what I'm telling you. Character change, character development. The character needs to be different. They need to be able to connect with these fans, and everything can't be the typical juggalo shit. You have to find a way to, be creative with how you select people. And look, because contracts, whatever type of contract they have with you, contracts they come to an end. Common sense would re-sign them. Now, if it gets to a point where they want more money to re-sign, give them what they're asking for. What you don't need to do is get greedy, right? Be stupid. Don't want to pay them what they're asking for. Let them go. You did all that work for what? And then you're going to depend on what? A former AEW or WWE release wrestler to come to your company. What if they don't come? Because I can tell you now. Think, for example, like when Braun Strowman left, and everybody knew it was like a handful of people. Like two weeks in a row, let a bunch of people go. You know what everybody assumed? That Braun and all of these released WWE wrestlers were going to go to AEW. First of all, Tony has to want them there. They're not just going to walk up, hey, Tony, we're here. Like, no, he has to want them there. But two, right? Some people in the comments, like few people said, they might go to TNA since they got that working relationship with them. Hold up, though. That's how long this stupid shit has been going on. TNA can't pay Braun Strowman what he would want. Now, let's take a Braun Strowman coming to JCW. He would get far more of a pop than a Matt Cardona. Matt has done this. That's all he does is pop up in independent circuits. He lose more than he win. And you understand what I mean? So it's like, it's no big thrill. But let's just say if you had a Braun Strowman. I can see you guys where Braun is dominating everything. Now, do you make him heel or do you make him a face? Because you guys, that's what you lack is faces. But if Braun Strowman was to come there, right? If you have that homegrown talent that is going to go back and forth with this big dude, however, you might have a big dude on you, who knows? But I'm saying that would be another match of, damn, this dude beat Braun. Oh, you understand? This is how your guys have to be in star building mode. I'm telling you, who you have is not going to work. Who you have, honestly, my honest opinion on JCW wrestlers, man, it seems like the majority of them are just lazy. They don't want to go to the gym. They don't want to get fit and strong, and they just wrestle. You got everybody want to get drunk before they go to the ring. I mean, damn, you see Too Tough Tony drinking. You see Cowboy James Storm drinking. You see like what's all the everybody want to do everything other than look like wrestlers and perform like wrestlers. So you got a bunch of fat old men, man. You got a bunch of guys that look out of shape. And pretty much the overall presentation of JCW is a fun little independent show that will always be nothing but that until you guys change the things that you need to change. And those backstage segments look like y'all record that shit with a shoe. I'm telling you, it just looks like a cheap show. Here goes Vince Russo running his mouth again. Oh, Tony Khan is. I'm like, you know what, Tony? You know what, Vince? Here's the thing. People would tune in to listen to you talk about Tony Khan, but they won't tune in to hear you talk about JCW. And everything that you're saying about Tony Khan, what the fuck does that have to do with you or JCW? Now, you're so focused on doing your little podcast shit or whatever, but you guys are doing no promo for this company. You got to get these videos cranking and get them out of here. That's, you guys, and this is what I'm saying about these old men. They don't have the mind for that shit. All they good, what they think they're good for is just sitting here, okay, I punch you in the face, then you say to me, ouch. What the fuck did you do that for? Then I say, OMG, I didn't know who you were. Then you kick me in the nuts and I fall. And then you say, well, you know who I am. I mean, like, goddamn, you're just sitting right shit. And my thing, you don't want, well, look, you guys are going to do whatever it is you're going to do. But you can sit here, I can sit here on my phone I got different filters and things I can use to edit videos and do shit. Right? You can't look. And just for the record, you notice how I dim the lights when I do videos? I do this on purpose because I just like that gritty, grainy look. I can sit here and put the lights on and sit and where, I do this shit on purpose. You are a part of a company. Your fucking videos don't look any better than mine, and I'm doing this shit with a cell phone with minimal light purposely. And this is what I'm saying. You have to think outside the box, man. You got to get rid of them 1960 ways, man, and think of don't get me wrong, there's always, look, like I tell people, jumping jacks still work, burpees still work, push-ups still work, pull-ups, dips, all. I don't know why people act like that shit don't work anymore, but you guys, there's certain things you got to just get away from, man. And why does every segment with you have to be in that back room, laying on the fucking couch, looking like you just had a fucking hangover? It's typical. It's there. See, one thing I love about Tony Khan is he's not in front of the camera because he's the boss, taking up all the damn. No, Tony Khan is only showing himself to give an announcement about something or to address the crowd, to say thank you, or to come out and pay homage to somebody because they're in the city where something, historic happened that night in professional wrestling, something to that effect. You guys just all over the camera. Man, if you took your look, and the thing about it is this, right? You're depending on yourself to tell the story. Okay, you guys don't have interviewers. You guys don't have anybody in positions to do anything other than a referee, a fucking ring announcer, and two fucking commentators that look like they're sitting inside of a fucking phone booth. They had to bunch over and lean over so they both could have their face in the camera view. I mean, these are things that people notice. And this is what I'm saying. This show just doesn't feel premium. It feels small. So to tell the world, I'm going to beat Vince, I'm going to beat WWE, or whatever, so what? It's not hard to outright those motherfuckers. But you keep saying all of this, but what is happening for JCW? And at some point, people just get sick of hearing the same things over and over. And then they're going to say, well, damn, you keep saying you're going to beat Raw, you're this, you're that. You keep talking shit about Tony Khan, and you guys only come on fucking YouTube. You understand? Focus on JCW, man. Because this is all the type of shit where, as someone who claims they love pro wrestling so much, you can't possibly open your mouth to question Tony Khan and say anything about anybody when you have been accused of failing WCW, failed in WWE, and not only that, now you're here in JCW and nobody's really fucking talking about this fucking shit. Other than myself, I don't even see anybody talking about JCW, to be honest with you. Nobody. I don't even come across people doing content about JCW. And this is just my point. So when you decide to plug AEW more than your own show, that shit is stupid. And then with all that talk, they're on TBS, TNT, and HBO Max, and you're still on YouTube. So what are you trying to say? Hey, even though AEW and WWE are bigger companies, hey, I'm better than them. Hey, please, just watch. Give me a chance. That's what you look desperate. It looks like clout chasing. Let's use these other fucking companies' names just to get some attention. And that's all this bullshit is. The same way you told Vampiro to go create chaos. That's what you're trying to do. But it's coming off tacky, cheap, desperate, and it's not helping JCW. You're investing all of this time, wasting it. On what? Why are you so obsessed with talking about Tony Khan? Why the fuck are you so obsessed with just putting wrestling down? Pro wrestling is this, is that, it's not what it used to. Okay, then what the fuck is your version? A bunch of big fat ass clowns running around that can't draw, that can't do shit? Check this out. Now, remember where this is coming from. You have yet to see anybody from TNA on SmackDown or Raw. If TNA hits a certain number, fuck TNA. But if they hit a certain number that the WWE is satisfied with, to try to get the ratings up on Raw and SmackDown, that is when you will probably see, if you see it, TNA wrestlers possibly trying to invade SmackDown or Raw. SmackDown or Raw wrestlers don't want to go to TNA and invade their show, and they have a viewership of like between 70 and sometimes 100,000 people watching, because it feels small to them. Okay? I told people, did I not go, for you guys that's been with me, you know, I said, you will not see anybody from TNA on SmackDown or Raw unless they are officially a part of that roster. But as all this invasion shit, no. They're going to do this with NXT and NXT only. Was I fucking lying? Was I lying? I told you guys this shit. I told you this shit. I told you Jordan Grace was not going to be the same in WWE. I told you they want to pry them away from Jordan Grace and Joe Hendry. I told you none of this was to help TNA. If you guys really believe that, you guys are fools. They're not trying. No, and it turned into a, you know what, we can make this a partnership. Yeah, okay, trust me. And the only thing that they would be trying to do with TNA, as far as them of the invasion, is because AMC is a whole new platform. People that may be watching TNA, right? Now, the way I see it, if you watch TNA, you watch WWE. But let's just say, if they actually do good numbers on AMC, the WWE will only be doing this just for the simple fact of them possibly having a whole new demographic of people watching their show now. And that's pretty much what it is. It has nothing to do with we're trying to help TNA. Bullshit. Helping TNA to help them help themselves. That's what it really is. Case in point is, even though I don't like their strategies, and I think WWE completely sucks, Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, and the idiotic people back there running the show, period. But what I'm saying, they're trying to do things at least. And because they're doing it for the wrong reasons, the wrong way, that's why it's not working. But this JCW shit, man, where you feel the need to just keep talking about wrestling and putting wrestling down, and modern wrestling sucks. Okay, well, you got to say JCW sucks too. And if you're going to say, no, I think JCW is different, well, then that's what the fuck you should have said when you debuted, instead of pissing all over the crowd and trying to play the heel. This is my point. Uplift. Get them excited. Get them to look forward to what the fuck you're going to do. And now, guess what? Don't you realize, see, this is what I'm about these old brains that these fucking people have. Don't you realize if you was able to get that crowd fired up, anybody that tuned in to watch just to see what the fuck you was going to do, that might have made these motherfuckers more likely to go, damn, Vince got that crowd hype. Guess what? People who normally don't talk about JCW, guess what they're doing? Hey, I got to give it to Vince, man. He went over there, he grabbed the mic, cut a great promo. The fans was eating it up, man. They were, yeah, man. So, yeah, and he had them hyped up, and you know what? It made me watch, and I'm looking forward to seeing the next show, and blah, blah, blah. But no, you go over there, get booed, you say things to get under their skin. It's like, what is, you ever listen to a rap song, and then another rap song, and another rap song, and right? And you just ask yourself, what is going on in your life that you start a song off with? Fuck you hating ass, fake ass bitches. Suck my dick, you bitch ass niggas. Niggas hating on me. Like, damn, you sat up there and just this beat came on, and this is what you came up with. Next song, I see niggas on my block trying to kill a nigga, but y'all don't got nothing better to talk about. This is what it is. Murder, murder, kill, kill. Huh? I'm in here fucking your baby mama in front of your daughter. I'm in here, your grandma was sucking my dick in the back of the. This is what you grown motherfuckers sit up and come up with. Somehow, everything that come across your mind is murder, murder, kill, kill. Everybody hating. I get high to hide the pain. Hey, I'm getting drunk. Fuck everybody. It's all about me. I'm all about my money. I don't need nobody. This is all you. Do you understand? It's like, where is the creativity? So you have 16 songs on your album, and every song is about haters, 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 jealous people. Fuck y'all. I got money. I got money. Y'all broke. I got a mansion. You don't. Pretty much. Where's the creativity? It's not about albums anymore. Everything is about singles. Turn them singles into jingles. That's all the fuck they do. No creativity, no substance, nothing to uplift. Just complain, complain, complain. Wah, 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 wah. Wah, 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 wah. Hating ass niggas. Fuck y'all niggas. Nigga, da, 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 da. Us niggas don't move like y'all niggas. We different over here. We this and this. And it's like, man, what the fuck am I listening to, right? Listen to something else. All right, what you think is going to happen when people hear all this hype about you talking about how you're going to beat Raw? You keep talking about Tony Khan. At some point, Vince, somebody's going to look and they're going to probably already come to your comment sections going, Vince, you keep talking all this shit. JCW sucks. What are you doing with this? You will cause people to not watch JCW. You will cause people to say the show sucked because you're the one writing, but yet all y'all manage to do is take the plastic down and put your old asses on the camera every fucking segment you get a chance to. Why are you always so stressed out, Vince? It's like when you see somebody go to work. You ever been a manager or a supervisor yourself, or been in the manager's or the supervisor's office, and they said, "Oh God, I can't wait to go." That's how you look like you hate going to work. That's not how somebody who's enthusiastic about being at a company. That's not what you do. It's not the vibe you give. Oh God, always grabbing your face, sliding down the seat. And I'm like, this is your master plan. This is the shit you came up with. This is the storyline that's supposed to knock our fucking socks off. You're stressed out because Vampiro is causing chaos. Ain't that what the fuck you told him to do? Then you got Vito, 62 years old. What the fuck is Vito's role? What is Vito? Running around, punking your talent, shoving them, smacking them around. Then he's in the ring wrestling and a black wife beater, black pants, and some fucking dress shoes. And he's in there beating the fuck out of cocaine. And I'm just like, Vince, this is not it, man. Listen, I critique the hard way because I want to get my point across and I want you to understand how I feel. We want to see JCW do better. But this is not it, man. This is not it. This is what, your third, fourth week, or whatever. Maybe I'm by, or whatever. Who's talking about JCW? Who the fuck is talking about JCW? I did see that. I had the one guy I did talk to that said JCW is wrestling done right. But see, he ended up eating his words up and then took the shit back. I wasn't defending AEW or WWE, anything else. I asked him to explain himself. Don't make claims that you can't fucking explain. If I tell you, hey, close that window, right? If you was to ask me why, I should be able to tell you, right? It's cold. The air is cold. Hey, there's insects flying in the right? Just, I don't know. Just close it. I don't know. If there's a reason. Hey, somebody can climb in this motherfucker. Close it. You don't need. I have a reason for telling you. Or I want it closed. You guys make claims and can't even support. Like, you have nothing to support your claims with. JCW is wrestling done right, but he couldn't even tell you what was happening on the show. You understand what I'm saying? So here's a guy that was hating on AEW, and he know that we like AEW. So when he said what he said, and he's pissed off because WWE, he know it sucks. No matter what he's trying to say, the majority of everybody talking about WWE, the show sucks. Let me show you something, Vince. Let me show you something. I don't know or care what SmackDown's ratings was, but the title change with Drew and Cody. Notice how you don't see 1,000 videos about it? WWE thought this was the change that they needed to shock everybody. The title's going to change hands. On a taped version of SmackDown. And why this didn't happen at a pay-per-view was simply because SmackDown's rating have dropped. We need something to happen to get people to watch it again. 3 stages of hell and nobody got bust open. And it ends in a cage match. Take note on that shit, Vince. Take note on that shit. Now, I don't know if you said wrestling was done right, JCW was wrestling done right, and that dude repeated what you said, or if he just whatever, I don't know. But he couldn't even support his claim. And I said, so you sitting here talking about AEW can't get 1 million views. Okay, neither is NXT. But they're getting 1 million views with their combined totals. But regardless, JCW is still on fucking YouTube only. And you talking about is wrestling done right? Well, why don't the rest of the world see it that way so they can have a better actual deal, have something better than just a YouTube channel? And they only have one show. Lunacy. Not true. No. So my whole thing is, you don't have to try to tear one company down just to build the other one up. Especially the thing that my whole thing with people with Tony and AEW is, y'all make it seem like Tony Khan and AEW actually did something to you motherfuckers. Here's the only fucking company I see that is clearly in support of diversity, clearly want the talent to exceed, and clearly care about the fans and make sure they give you quality content that's affordable. Why the other company tell the same stupid people that's defending them to fuck off. Stories don't have to make sense. You guys have no life. You understand what I mean? Worry about your own life. Focus on you. Rhea Ripley told you all, if you focus on your own lives, put this much focus on your own lives, instead of worrying about me, you'd be better off in life. That's what Rhea told y'all. And you stupid motherfuckers are still tuning in. With this, but you're still tuning in. So why are you bitching and complaining about shit? But somehow, it's like y'all act like Tony Khan and AEW did something to you motherfuckers. I just don't understand this shit. How stupid you can be. So when I tell you motherfuckers that you're slaves to the machine, I've been telling you this shit for the past 4 or 5 years, because that's what you are. And the reality of all of this shit, of all of it, you won't even like JCW because it's different. Never watched it, but guarantee you, Vince, the same people will watch JCW and go, oh, this shit suck. That's what they would do. Oh, Matt Cardona did shit. So, do you understand? Everything I'm saying, I'm just being honest. You don't have the team. Even if your writing is better than that bullshit they're doing over there in WWE, you don't have the team players to carry this shit out to where it's really going to excel. You got to get, I don't know, in your mind, whatever you see is creative, and you think that this is going to be a good show. When you write this stuff, do you write it and feel confident that this is good writing, or are you like, oh, I hope it works? Because it's very elementary. It's very simple. It is very, very simple, man. How you even take notes and go from one show to the next and everything this shit is, listen, when you are putting these shows together, look at how the fuck can you have a wrestler that looks like cocaine and you can't come up with something like, every time I see this dude, he's getting beat up by this old man, Vito. Look, Cocaine used to dress like Kane. Only instead of the red and black suit, he had a white and black suit. Okay? And that version of him sucked because he was just imitating Kane. He was just a little skinny version of him. And his character changed from that to Cocaine. So for y'all that don't know, Cocaine has it's not Well, I don't think it's actual cocaine. No, but he has like a little thing of cocaine in his pocket. So when he's resting, he starts getting his ass kicked or whatever. Once he starts to come back and, then he pulls up the cocaine and throws it up. And then once it, it's like now he's ready to go. I like that character. You can't find something to do with him except him get his ass kicked by old bald head guys. And the thing is, it's not even like Vito is one of them dudes that's up in age but still look young, still big, fat, bald-headed. He's built like a fucking potato, man. And you don't understand this shit. It's like you take these old guys, bring them in, and make the younger talent look like a bunch of little cowards. And they're all nothing but a bunch of mid-card guys. Your woman's champion, all she does is come out and twerk and argue with her fucking mom and all this goofy shit. And it's like, all right, don't make the show silly. Fun and silly are two different things. The show is like, this is what I'm saying, like, it's things that I enjoy when I'm watching JCW, but then it's like a goofy shit. Y'all need to, man, if you just had a fucking folding table and put a fucking nice long tablecloth and just get it from an angle where people can't even see this shit, got your computer there, whatever. Because we know you're not in a real office. It's just some little room you're sitting in. But I mean, damn, do something different, man. Put it on an angle where you got a big JCW logo behind you or something, man. Like, come on, think, man. The show feels cheesy. It feels cheap. It feels like it's a low-budget show. So for y'all to keep saying you're going to beat Vince, you're going to beat Raw, you're going to do this, and hey, man, nobody cares about that shit. People are laughing at you now. Notice something, y'all. Every time somebody make a podcast or they do some shit and they're talking shit about AEW, why they always have a WWE belt hanging somewhere or some WWE picture behind them, right? This is not coming from AEW fans. This is WWE fans with that shit. And the funny thing is, as sucky as Raw and SmackDown and NXT is, you got the nerve to worry about a company. Mercedes Moné was female performer of the year. The company itself was promotion of the year. 10 awards from Sports Illustrated. Not WWE, not JCW, not NWA, not New Japan, not Stardom World, not WOW, not Shimmer, not CCW, not AEW. And for the record, globally, there are thousands of wrestling companies. Thousands. You pick whichever ones you like. For me, the fact that I can sit here and watch AEW, I can watch JCW, I can watch, even though sometimes I wonder why the fuck I'm watching it, NWA, okay, CCW. The fact I can choose to watch whatever, I have several, I can choose to watch whatever. I'm saying I watch what I enjoy. But when I'm doing content and I'm talking about things, I talk about the positive and the negative. But when I'm talking about any other company, I expose WWE for being what the fuck they are and who they are. But any other company, it's not about, oh, let me just say something about the company to put them down. No, it's to wake people up, to just bring awareness to these situations. Look at this. You guys know who, what's her name? Harley, what's her name? Fuck. Fine little motherfucker. I think she's from Australia. Little box haircut. What the fuck is her name? She's over in TNA. And I said, I would love to see her in AEW. It's funny. The people that I say I would love to see in AEW end up either going to AEW or they'll pop up in TNA. So far, Julia and really Julia. It wasn't really so much Stephanie Vaquera. I mean, I thought she was good when I seen her, but it was mostly Julia because I was watching a lot of Stardom, and I still do, pull up Stardom and just see what's going on. But what the hell is her name? All right. Anyway, I made videos about this chick. and she wrestled the other day. Now, if you watch Explosion, you guys are aware Explosion is just a bunch of old matches, and then the very last match will be a current match. Do you guys notice how empty the building is on Explosion? And notice how all the old shit they watch is far more exciting, far more crowd participation, all right, than the new shit. What does that show you and tell you? What does it tell you? Even though they're going to AMC, it doesn't seem like Explosion will be included. It will probably be just Impact, and Explosion will probably still just be the YouTube show. I don't know, because I don't know the details of their deal. But I can't see AMC saying, yeah, man, we're going to have Explosion too, where you get to show a bunch of old matches. They already have that on Prime, where they show old, TNA content. So I really don't see that being a smart move. And they also do the same thing on, one of these other little streaming apps. But, they show old TNA content. But however, my whole point is everybody's making some type of move, whether you like the moves or not. Vince is now, the head writer, the writer over there for JCW. But I'm saying, man, y'all got to stop this old man routine. Sitting on couches, having your little fucking headaches and crashing out because somebody did something on the show, and make it look like you want to be there, man. Make it look like these segments got to be different. This shit feels so outdated. It's like, in a lot of ways, it's similar to NWA in that sense, man, where you watch shit. I mean, now JCW, at least their stories do connect, and it makes more sense than NWA shit, for sure. NWA stories, it just, they have these little weird segments that look like ads, man. And it's weird because they'll sit there and talk, and like nothing that they're saying or doing has nothing to do with what's happening in the ring. It's just a weird ass show. But, it is similar in a sense, like it has that cheesy camera look to it, and it just doesn't feel like a premium show. NWA doesn't feel premium either. But JCW, between the two, yeah, I could watch JCW and get into it more than I can NWA. But when I watch it, look, what's the guy named EC3? EC3 used to sit there doing his little podcast shit, the split screen, and he talked all this shit and was bragging about NWA, this and that. Guess who left NWA? EC3. And this is what I'm saying. Everybody always want to try to put a company over when they're making money off of them, when they're with them. But then when something goes wrong, they go and, okay, I haven't heard him say anything about them and don't need to. But he's gone. He's gone. And if I'm Vince Russo, I'm thinking the same thing. Look, NWA got this Roku deal. Who the fuck is talking about NWA? Just because a platform reaches out to many homes don't mean that they're going to watch your fucking show. And that's why I'm saying, when you don't have... Listen, man, let me tell you something. Let's be real. What the fuck is this girl's name, man? The point that I was getting at is this. JCW has no eye candy. I don't look at no man and think any man is attractive, for one. But women-wise, they have no eye candy. They got a bunch of overweight broads that come out. Honestly, I'm just saying, don't look like much of nothing. And Willie Mack is always finding a way to spank them and put them across his, and all this goofy shit. And the dudes, same thing. They don't have no, like there's nobody that's just standing out. There's nobody that's just turning heads, getting people that just don't have it. What don't you guys understand, man? You need that. Without that, you're going to find yourself in the same position. And while you're sitting here talking shit about AEW and WWE, both companies are still doing far better than JCW. So, really, I think that's tacky. And if you really love the business like you claim you do, that's what you focus on. And that's the problem. Nobody wants to uplift. Tony Khan does. That's his Tony. That's what I'm saying. Everybody know, but everything is bad guy, heel, insult, chaos. And you just have a show full of bad guys getting the upper hand 90-something% of the time. You have a show full of just a bunch of shit, random things happening, and every owner of a company always want to have like a bad guy's persona. And WWE with these worthless general managers, I don't know what the fuck Adam Pearce or Nick Aldis role, general manager. What the fuck do they do? All they do is sit back, same thing. They're always frustrated, always arguing and debating with the workers in the back, and they act as if they're so shocked or so upset because a wrestler got jumped or something and they want revenge, and you're acting like they're wrong for wanting revenge, and like you don't even want to make the match. What the fuck? How do you put a show together if you're not making matches? Do you understand? This is my point. And this is one of the things I love why when I'm watching AEW, I don't see Tony Khan little ass running around and he's always, no. That shit is so old school. Oh, general manager of what? What the fuck do y'all do? What do y'all do? This is what I'm saying, people. Look at what's going on. Instead of talking shit, man, I mind my business and go, you know what? Let me see what's going on. And my ideas, my creative juices would just be, shit, Vince, you need some help? I can help you write JCW. Yeah. I could help you. I could help you scout talent. And I guarantee you, my ideas would pop and kick way better than yours is. I'll bet you they will. Because when I look at the talent you have, it's always, I've did some shit behind it. Listen, bottom line, if you're sitting here right now and you're watching this video and you listen to everything I said and you look at reality and you can't see the truth of what I'm saying, then yeah, it'll be the same thing all the time. And what will happen is one day you'll no longer be walking at JCW and you'll be sitting there talking to Conrad and whoever the fuck else and EC3 and all them talking about how these motherfuckers wasn't listening, they didn't have the talent, now your true feelings will come out about them. And then you'll blame all of them because you were the head writer, but your stories didn't work. I'm telling you, it's going to take more than just story writing. And if you guys are working on these things, great. But y'all need to make these changes ASAP. Y'all need to start introducing new talent and people that really can go in that ring. And your stories need to be more focused on bringing, putting great matches together. Good versus bad. Okay, good versus bad. And you stop playing the bad. Why does everybody who own a company or want to be or the head always got to be the bad guy? I want to come here and make everybody. Is that what you do? You was a manager at a supermarket or some shit or a warehouse or whatever the fuck. Just walk around pissing your workers off and shit. Hey man, your break is half an hour, and by the time you walk back to the floor, it was 31 minutes instead of 30. I'm docking you. Like, are you pessimistic like that? Like, damn, everybody want to play the bad guy. This shit is getting old. Every company should do. Let me see what AEW is doing and what they're not doing. Let me see what WWE is doing, what they're not doing. Okay, now what can I do that nobody else is doing? How can I combine things and put all this simple? And if you can't think like that on your feet, man, you have an uphill battle, brother. That's all I got for you guys right now. Catch you guys on the next video.